Ultimate skins have always been known to be the most expensive tier of skin you can buy, with only 7 of them existing today. But what makes them different from the rest? Answering this question required me to dive into over a decade of skin releases, emailing rioters and organizing it all for you. Hello everyone, I'm Snowball, and today I'll be telling you all the history of Ultimate skins. In the early days, just like the actual game itself, skins weren't very advanced. They were pretty much what we now refer to as chromas, except that's all we had. Stuff like Woe to Ash or Groovy Zillion was the norm. Only difference between the modern chromas and the early skins were they could be reimagined to a different theme, even if the animations weren't new. However, the first skins to technically ever be released were Black Alistar, Young Rise, and Silver Kale. These skins were distributed to players who pre-ordered the League of Legends Digital Collector's Pack. Yeah, to people who pre-ordered a free game. While there were people who were excited, those skins also didn't have any animation changes, which was the technology of the time. We started to see a difference in skins, for example Leprechaun Vagar, which had slightly different animations even though it was still worth 520 RP. This is a rare case because for the most part, any skins that had different effects would be worth 975 RP. The first ever skin worth 975 was Fiddle Me Timbers and went live on August 9th, 2010. In the same year, Gentleman Cho'Gath was released. This was the first installment to the legendary skin bracket, and to imagine how far behind League was back then, this skin doesn't even have any changes to its effects or animations. The only difference is that there is a voiceover, a very iconic one at that. However, that would obviously not hold up for modern standards. Over the next 2 years, a solid amount of legendary skins followed up, including Bloodlord Vladimir, Surprise Party Fiddlesticks, and Gatekeeper Galio, which all had unique everything. However, no one knew what was coming next.
Okay, do it one more time, do it one more time.
Still alive. Jordan.
Alright, first mystery skin. Lock. Holy sh!
Pulsefire Ezreal was the first installment to our new ultimate tier for skins. It redefined what the player base thought a League of Legends skin could be. It came with a new model, which would evolve and change throughout the match, specifically levels 6, 11, and 16, and he'd be given a flying animation after level 16. It featured new textures, a new splash art which is animated within the client instead of being static, new animations, effects, and visuals, part of those being termination effects specific to champions and minions, as well as new sound effects for his abilities and skin, and even having completely different quotes. A very iconic example being, "Hello Ezreal.
Do you require a map?"
No.
After all of these new features, there's still one more thing I haven't talked about, which is arguably the most important reason why the skin was so iconic: the bonus content. If you purchased Pulsefire Ezreal within the first 4 days of its release, you would receive it for 1625 RP, which is 50% off. Once you purchased it, you also received a special icon and profile banner. Riot also publicly released a document called The Making of Pulsefire Ezreal, which gave an in-depth look on how the skin came to be and answered a bunch of questions from the player base. This was the first time in League of Legends history that a skin on its own created an entire event and brought everyone together as a community to feel hyped. All in all, the skin was just crazy. It completely raised the bar for what we could expect in the future, and everyone was ready for the next one. Really quick, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to me. It helps me a lot. Thanks. On April 11th, 2013, Riot Hapolis released an announcement that they were updating skin costs because of the fact that there was a large imbalance of quality within the 975 RP bracket. Many skins were higher quality than others, which is why they decided to create 2 new skin cost tiers, 750 and 1350. The skins worth 750 RP would feature a new texture and model touch-ups, a new splash art. They specified this because many of the older skins were just recolored default splash arts, and some having different animations. Skins worth 975 RP were given a clear definition, including everything explained previously, but also some new animations and sound effects. Finally, the 1350 RP skin bracket would have everything I just stated, along with potential voiceovers. Some examples of skins that were moved up into this bracket were Arcade Sona and Blackthorn Morgana. This new distinction between skins created a higher standard down the line, which in turn made legendary and ultimate skins even greater quality.
There was a post taken down from the League of Legends website saying that there was a confirmation that Udyr was going to have the new ultimate skin. There was no splashes, no anything. It was going to be called Spirit Walker, I believe.
Almost exactly 1 year later, the next ultimate skin was leaked. To many players' surprise, Udyr would be rumored to receive it. On June 26, 2013, Spirit Guard Udyr was released on the PvE, and we loved it. Everything about it was so cool. The reimagined tiger, turtle, bear, and phoenix stances showed us how cool of a champion Udyr really was. It was almost like this is what he should have looked like in the first place. This ultimate skin received near the same treatment as Pulsefire Ezreal, but more. New model, new textures, and new animated splash arts. However, he had 4 different ones based on the stances, new taunts, joke, laugh, and interactions with other champions. Different ability effects and animations, along with his stances evolving at max rank. He was also on sale for the first 4 days of live server release, just like Ezreal. However, he was only 40% off instead of 50% at 1950 RP. Of course, if you bought the skin, you also received 4 different icons and banners representing his new stances. There was also an interactive Spirit Guard Udyr comic with 11 pages in the client that you could read. I say read, however, the correct word would probably be experience, considering it was pretty much a short film. The most epic thing about all of this was the fact that Udyr was a very unpopular champion at the time. This tied together the entire event. Riot made the skin out of love and passion. Along with this skin's release and Trick2G's rise to the spotlight around the same time, this skin is probably the single most impactful skin that was ever created, not only reviving a character, but pushing past that and making Udyr a popular pick. And for a while, that was it for the ultimate skins. Almost 2 years later, we received this masterpiece, and once again, Riot outdid themselves. DJ Sona was the 3rd ultimate skin. She was given 3 different forms, all with their own respective new textures, models, spell and sound effects, animations, colors, and animated splash arts. But the biggest differences between them were the songs associated with them. That's right, Riot produced 3 of her own unique songs directly correlated to the skin. Her first form was her kinetic form. It featured a very high energy with satisfying beat drops, with light blue and green animations. Her second form was called concussive. This one featured hard-hitting rhythms, which kind of remind me of dubstep but a bit less aggressive. It also had bright orange and magenta colors. The third and final form was named Ethereal. Ethereal form featured very chill atmospheric vibes. You could listen to this track while doing work or meticulously crafting your 2015 rune pages, which were way different back then. They did not stop at just making songs. They also hosted DJ Sona live concerts in 3 different countries: Russia, Belarus, and Turkey. Being able to pull gamers outside of their caves to go see these concerts just shows how hyped this entire release was. While the work that was put into the skin was already obviously insane, this wasn't all. The player could actually listen to these songs while in-game using the skin. If they typed /toggle in the chat bar, it would recycle between each 3 soundtracks, always starting with kinetic as a base, then it would flow into concussive, and finally round out with ethereal. With all of this, the most exciting part about the skin was that your teammates could listen to the songs in sync with you. If a player were to open the leaderboard and click on Sona's icon, it would unmute and mute the tunes as you pleased. This addition was the most influential part about the skin because you didn't even have to own it to experience it. Positively at that, considering it was at your choice. The skin, as per tradition, was on sale for the first 4 days. However, it was only 25% off at 2450 RP. I am noticing a trend of Riot getting greedier as time goes on. However, even though that's the case, the skins are still staying consistently awesome. DJ Sona set the bar so high that there was no way they could challenge it again, right? Over the course of the next 2 years, Riot will go on to release 17 different cinematics, consisting of new champion teaser trailers, 2 different world songs, and some champion skinline cinematics like Star Guardian. These animations garnered a total of 255 million views on YouTube. All this to say, League of Legends players love the cinematics. Considering that, who would have guessed that the next ultimate skin would have their very own? Nearing the end of 2016, Elementalist Lux was released. Paired with a great cinematic and the fact that Lux is one of the most popular characters in League of Legends, this was big. At this point, the player base knew what to expect in terms of skin quality. Everything was redone, from her model to her voice lines. While not having her own song, she did get 10 different forms. Yeah, As the player's matches progressed, she would be able to combine 2 different forms together. However, she wouldn't be able to change forms at will. She could only do it twice a match after stacking enough e-girl points from hitting enemies. This did make the experience of playing her the most unique the game has ever seen. If you bought the skin, which at this point didn't even have a sale at all, you'd receive these 5 icons. But if you bought the whole super special Master Elementalist edition, you'd receive those 5 plus these 5 icons and the Elementalist ward. This ward changed colors based on what form you were currently rocking. If you bought the skin within 2 weeks of the release, you'd also get the Elementalist origin border and another icon. They really went all out for the Lux mains. No sale at all, along with the bundle available for limited time, Riot knew they were gonna hand out bonuses that quarter. And a little over a year later, we received this. The next ultimate skin was here, Gun Goddess Misfortune. They went with the same approach as Elementalist Lux, making her very own cinematic trailer. However, one thing they did not do similarly was the price. This skin was the first and only ultimate skin to date to not be worth a base amount of 3250 RP. It only costed 2775 RP and you got 4 icons. While it still didn't have an on-release sale, at least it was cheaper. I'm not exactly sure why they did this. You already know Riot had to offer a bundle package though. If you bought the Payback Edition for 3500 RP, you'd get the skin, an extra icon on top of the 4 standard ones, a loading screen splash art border, and the EXO ward skin. This skin featured a total of 4 forms, each with their own unique visual effects, and unlike the last ultimate skin, you could switch between these 4 whenever you wanted, as long as you were at spawn, which is really unique. You could switch forms with this custom UI. On top of all of this, she was given the standard changes to everything from sounds to her model. Another successful addition to the ultimate skins. On November 3rd, 2018, the new virtual K-pop group named KDA was released by Riot. This was similar to what they have done in the past, for example with Pentakill, a skin line that included Ari, Akali, Evelyn, and Kaisa reimagined as a musical group. They also debuted their first single called Pop Stars, which is a very catchy song that ended up getting 560 million views on YouTube. This virtual group was also the opening ceremony for the League of Legends 2018 World Championships. Overall, they were a huge hit. Around 2 years later, they made another song called The Baddest, which, while not being a worldwide hit like the first one, was still catchy and pretty popular with 60 million views on YouTube. However, that was it for KDA. In late June of 2020, Seraphine was released as Riot's newest champion. This release was extremely unique, however, because of the fact that they were posting on social media as if Seraphine was a real person. People seemed to really like this a lot. This whole marketing campaign was obviously to push Seraphine as this relatable person to hype up her release more, and whether or not it was cringe can be up to you. Either way, people loved following her career as a musician. And then she posted this. Seraphine would be collabing with KDA. Finally, on October 28th, Seraphine released, along with her feature on KDA's More, which was a banger. I'd love to show off the song in this video for cinematic effect, but it's copyrighted, so GG. For the first time in League of Legends history, a champion's on-release skin was an ultimate skin. This was probably the most hyped ultimate skin release of all time, considering the prior months of marketing Seraphine as a person. Players were excited for her KDA All-Out themed skin since many of them followed her journey from a small independent artist to a pop star, which is what the skin represents. Her 3 forms show her climb to fame step by step. You would start off with the base form of her making music in her room. Completing 3 of the missions in her quests would unlock her second form, which was her moment of racking up a fanbase of her own. If you completed all 5 of the missions, you'd unlock a border and her third form representing her KDA collab, which was known worldwide. You could then pick between these 3 forms before every match, which of course all had their own unique ability animations and effects, and every other standard that we've come to expect from ultimate skins. KDA All-Out Seraphine had no on-release sale, but you did also receive 2 icons and an emote for buying it. Did I mention that KDA performed this song while live at the 2020 World Championships in Shanghai? This was definitely the most energy Riot has ever put into a skin up to that point, and the bar has never been higher. Fast forward to 2023, Riot announced the Soul Fighter event, which would be taking place throughout the entire summer. This event was based on fighting games and anime tournament arcs. They will go on to have a new champion release, which we know as Nefiri, an in-client experience called the Tournament of Souls, where you can essentially play a mini story fighting game, the new game mode called Arena, a bunch of new Soul Fighter skins, and of course, our most recent ultimate skin, Soul Fighter Samira. There was also exclusive content for this event added in Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, and TFT. Soul Fighter Samira is definitely a really nice skin. She was given her own pentakill animation, which looks crazy. She has a unique taunt depending on how many kills she has in a match. She gets a new HUD overlay experience when her ult is ready to use, and the new ultimate ability itself gets a slightly bigger and better animation as you level it up throughout the match. However, despite all of this, the community was not satisfied. Many players felt as though the skin didn't meet the expected criteria of an ultimate skin and was lacking more unique aspects that it didn't have, or was just underwhelming. It also didn't help that along with the skin, all of this other exciting and engaging content released at the same time. 2v2v2v2 Arena is arguably the best game mode Riot has ever come up with. Along with this event stretching across multiple games and everything else, Soul Fighter Samira was a bust. This skin failed to reach the bar that was set after every new installment of Ultimate Skins, let alone top it. Every single addition to this tier was more impressive than the last, and that trend ended in 2023. Hopefully, if they make another one, it'll revive the hype we once had. Thank you so much for watching this video of my take on the history of Ultimate Skins. This was definitely the most work I've ever put into one, so I hope you let me know your thoughts. Please leave a like, and of course, I'll catch you next time. See ya!